I might not be overly fast. I'm a little bit of a snail, but I always get excited when I receive mail. I don't know what it is. I think it might be a cheque. If I was a betting man, I'd say it's not a cheque. Cheque rhymes with cheque. Hey Robbie, you've got mail. You better check your mailbox. Okay Robbie, thanks mate. What's the address? Post Office Box 3006, Yarunga LPO, Wangaratta 3677. Okay, thanks buddy. I'll go and check it right now. Alexander. My name is Robbie Alexander. Alexandra is down near Yea, down near the Goulburn River. I am Alexander. Anyway, g'day everyone. I've got some mail. I'm excited. Let's open it, see what it is. I'm guessing it's not a cheque. Hey Robbie, you've got mail. Thanks mate. What's the address? I have heard different thoughts on the moon chart and the barometer for times to go out fishing. I would like to know your thoughts on it, or is it just a myth? A few question marks. We'll wait for you to post on your YouTube channel. Thanks, Dave. G'day, Dave. Thanks for the lovely letter. Moon phases and the barometer for Murray cod fishing. What's my take on this? I've got my beliefs and I've got my thoughts. I'll share them with you now, but understand this is just my thoughts. This is what works for me. This is how I interpret things. Everybody's different. It's one of those things that you can speak to 100 different people and get 100 different opinions. But this is my take on the situation. Let's start with the barometer. I like a stable barometer, a high stable barometer. There is a saying, 1020 cod aplenty. What that means is when the barometer is around about 1020, the fish bite really well, the Murray cod bite well, and I believe that, it's quite true. But I like a stable barometer of around 1020, not one that's just spiked and then gone back down again. In saying that, when a storm system comes through and there's a rapid drop in the barometer ahead of that storm front, that is a time that I love to fish for Murray cod. And I might be fishing around about 1005 or 1010 after the barometer's just gone down really sharply, and that can be a good time. A rule of thumb, 1020 cod aplenty. A nice high stable barometer is good if you can find it. But what good is it to you when the river's flooded in the middle of July? You know, what good's a high barometer to people fishing on the Murray, on the lower Darling River at the moment? It's no good because the fish aren't there. In the middle of winter, it's no good because the fish aren't biting because the water's too cold and it's flooded. I consider the barometer to be a key ingredient, and I've said this in a video that I made once before. Talking about the barometer in relation to fishing is a bit like baking a cake. You know, you need your sugar, your flour, your onions or whatever you want in your cake. I've never had a cake with onions in it ever. You know, yeah, I think you get the point though. You've got all your different ingredients, your flour, your sugar, your milk, your eggs. I think with cod fishing there's lots of ingredients. You need, decent water temperature, not too hot, not too cold. You need a nice stable water level, the right time of the year, which can affect the fish's hormones, whether they're spawning or shut down. But when things are right, like for this time of the year, for example, middle of summer, a nice stable barometer is good, although I do like a sudden fall in barometer ahead of a cold front. That's what I like, that's just me. Now, the moon. The moon's an interesting one. I never really pay too much attention to a full moon. I've heard lots of people's different beliefs. Some people don't like surface fishing under a full moon, and they like to look in the shade, the moon shadow, essentially under a full moon. I don't pay that much attention, but one thing that I reckon I've cottoned on to over the years with the moon, when we're fishing, we love to fish around sunrise and sunset. I'm always telling people the low light periods of the day. Sunrise and sunset are great times of the day to fish for Murray cod. I actually think moonrise and moonset is really good as well. I'm not sure what time the moon rises. It could rise at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think that's a good time to fish. It could set at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and I think that's a good time to fish. I think the moon setting and rising can just open a little bite window from time to time. But once again, that's just an ingredient in the big cake of Murray cod fishing, minus the onions. So my thoughts, with a barometer, look for a high stable barometer. look for a sudden dip in the barometer ahead of approaching storm front. That can be a really good time. But also focus on other factors as well, like the water level, water temperature and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things that come into play. But the barometer definitely does have an impact on the Murray cod fishing. Brett Corker and I went fishing recently and caught quite a few, and the barometer was 1,009. And there wasn't any storms around. It was just low, but the fish were biting. So rule of thumb, 10-20 cod aplenty with the barometer. Although when you work and you're grown up, you just got to go when you get time. And I know, Dave, that you can relate to that. Now, and yeah, the moon thing, yeah, I like moonrise, moonset. But once again, I can't just drop everything and go fishing in the middle of the day. And I may have that wrong. That's just my personal belief. When the moon rises, I think it's a good time. When the moon sets, it's a good time. Whether it's a full moon or half moon. One thing I was taught as a kid is that a great time to fish for Murray cod is when the sun is setting in the west and the moon is coming up in the east at exactly the same time. When moonrise and sunset, whether it's true or not is anybody's guess, but it's something that I was taught as a kid, and I believe it could be true. Now, just before I go, well, Dave from Alexandra, thanks very much for the lovely handwritten letter. Before I go, I just got to say, I look a little bit dishevelled, don't I? My hair's a mess, my clothes are wet. Dishevelled means messy. It's just a big word that we use sometimes in the industry that I work. But I look pretty crap. And the reason for that is because it is stinking hot. It was 43 today or 44 and it's going to be 45 tomorrow. I have literally just got out of the Ovens River here in Wangaratta 10 minutes ago. I come straight home, wet, jumped in front of the camera hoping that the wet would keep me cool, and I'm already really hot and there's bugs all over me. That's why I'm not in the shed very much at the moment. Righto folks, so thanks very much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, why not consider doing so? Because I upload videos regularly. I probably should say that at the start of the video. Alexander.